All right, I want to take a minute here to show you what this Kalergi guy, you can watch my other video on him, what he said about women and the whole women's suffrage movement of the 1920s when he was writing this, when he was alive and basically writing this book here. Women were feeling that they needed to be empowered, that they were empowering themselves somehow by cutting their hair short and starting to put on pants. And it never happened before then, okay? Every culture, women wore dresses. Just plain and simple before that. But this is one I actually agree with this guy on, believe it or not. All right, let me show you the quote here on page 107 with the overhead camera. Page 107, look what he writes here. I wrote, very true. The emancipation of women is also a synonym of the masculinization of our world because it does not lead the feminine type to power, but the masculine. While in the past, the feminine woman, by her influence on the man, participated in world leadership, today, quote-unquote, men of both sexes wield the scepter of economic and political power. The emancipation of women signifies the triumph of the man-woman over the real feminine woman. It does not lead to the victory, but to the abolition of women. The lady is already extinct. The woman should follow her. Through emancipation, the female sex, which has been partially excluded, is being mobilized for the technological war and placed in the army of labor. And you can look up, there's a video. Aaron Russo was a friend of, I think it was Nicholas Rockefeller. It's one of the Rockefeller boys. And Rockefeller asked Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo was he was a nightclub owner. He was the manager for Bette Midler. And a Hollywood guy, in other words. And Rockefeller asked him, he said, Aaron, what do you think this whole female rights thing and the women's suffrage and all that, he said, what do you think that's about? And Aaron Russo, he's trying to be progressive and all, and he said, women's rights and the equality of women. And the guy just laughed at him. Rockefeller laughed at him, and he said, you're such an idiot. He said, that's what everybody believes. He said, that's what we've told people. No, he said, it's actually about getting women out of the home and into the workforce so we can get double the taxes. That's what it's about. All the women out there, cut your hair short, put on your pants, things, you're just as good as a man, you're just as strong as a man and whatever. They're actually weakening you as a lady. Feminine women have more power than masculine women. I've seen it with my own wife. My own wife was not raised wearing dresses and whatever else. She was military, 2 different branches of the military and things. She always wanted to wear dresses, but she was always forced into this thing of wearing pants and everything else. You can't wear dresses in the military, And but she got saved, and she started saying, you know what? What can I do to fight against this whole feministic agenda out there? And she started wearing dresses all the time. She doesn't even own pants. Everything she does in a dress. And you know what? I've seen so many times where she'll be walking into a store or something, and I'm getting something out or whatever else, and she'll start walking towards the door, and some man will go, oh, let me get the door for you, ma'am. And they don't do that with women wearing pants. Remember the one time there was an older couple and they're walking behind us and things, and my wife, she went to get in her side of the vehicle, and he goes, oh, ma'am, let me get that for you. And he's opening the door for her, and she gets in and she pulls her dress and she says, oh, thank you, sir. And he says, oh, you're very welcome. And he shuts the door and he goes in, doesn't even open up the door for his wife, and he hops in the car, and I look, over at them as I'm pulling out, and she's just, yelling at him and things. Why? Because that man saw a lady, and he treated her like a lady. And a lot of what I preach and teach, it comes from the research that my wife does, the reading and things like that. She's a very brilliant woman, right? And I respect her very much as a lady, and she wants to be a lady. I suggest the same for you out there. But isn't it ironic that you have this very wicked philosopher here, but even he can recognize what happened to ladies when they started to dress and act like men. Something to think about.